Hi guys, this is Jude from EasyTechs. Today we'll be taking a closer look at the Juplink RX4-1500 dual band gigabit Wi-Fi router from Vanin. This router supports the latest Wi-Fi 6 standard. Wi-Fi 6 is the latest version or generation of Wi-Fi out there at the moment. Now, if you are not much into tech or networking in general, you might wonder what these numbers mean or when did we even have Wi-Fi 1, 2, 3 down to 6. Well, that is a relevant question to ask, and here's a simple reason for that. Until recently, these standards were known by their IEEE specification numbers. So you hear things like IEEE 802.11b, 802.11a, G, AC, and so on. For the most part, you still hear these kind of names in technical settings, but in a bid to make these names and numbers more user-friendly and to enable software designers to start integrating these standards to the Wi-Fi notifications on devices, same way you have with the cellular connection notifications, the Wi-Fi Alliance body is now adopting this numbering scheme to represent the different Wi-Fi standards. So you have these different standards represented by their corresponding Wi-Fi numbers as shown here on this table. Now, as an everyday user, these numbers might not mean much and you might not even care really what they represent. For the most part, it's about how does upgrading to a Wi-Fi 6 phone and router affect your day-to-day experience on your phone, your PC, or any other Wi-Fi 6 enabled devices. Or what more is there to these Wi-Fi numbers other than the natural increase in speed with each subsequent generation? Well, continuous increase in speed is for sure the natural progression of these standards, but there's a lot more than just increase in speed with the Wi-Fi 6 version. I'll be touching on the most relevant of these other features in this review, but before that, let's take a look at what comes in the box. So here you have the Wi-Fi 6 router itself, a power adapter, a quick start guide, an Ethernet cable, and a warranty card. Now, looking closely at the device itself, it has quite a fanciful design, very lightweight, portable, and overall I would say is a very nice outlook. It has 4 antennas, and somewhere along this front line you have the LED indicator. At the back, you have 4 LAN ports for connecting to your local area network and a WAN port for your wide area network. Next to it is a WPS button, and then below that you have this reset button, and then you have the power jack and an on and off button. Before we go ahead to set up the device, let's take a look at the technical specifications. As I already mentioned, the RX4-1500 uses the latest Wi-Fi 6 standard. That's the IEEE 802.11ax. It supports a dual band Wi-Fi connection with 300 megabit per second on the 2.4 GHz band and 1200 megabit per second on the 5 GHz band. So if your provider offers such high-speed connections, then this router will ensure you are getting every bit of the benefits. It has a 1.5 GHz 64-bit tri-core processor. Now, this is quite a powerful configuration for a router, I must say. With this, you can be sure of a very efficient operation. Then you have the orthogonal frequency multiple access technology, that's OFDM. Now, just as the name implies, this basically allows multiple transmissions to be handled at the same time, thereby reducing latency and improving efficiency. So if you are running any kind of latency sensitive applications like virtual reality, augmented reality, Internet of Things sensors, 4K streaming, and so on, you will appreciate this feature even more. It also has the multi-user Mimo feature, which allows multiple users to access the router simultaneously without any decrease in bandwidth. 256 megabytes of RAM, coverage for over 2,500 square foot, and of course it's backward compatible with the previous wireless standards, that's the 802.11a, B, G, N, and AC. Connecting and setting up the device is pretty typical if you've set up a Wi-Fi router before. If you haven't, it's quite straightforward. The one port, which is the blue port here, is where you connect the Ethernet cable from your wall or the modem, as the case may be. Then hook up the power adapter, press the power button, and give it a few seconds to boot up. Once fully powered on, you will now be able to discover the network from your list of connections. Here, look for a network named Juplink RX4-1500. Click on it and select Connect. Once connected, open your browser and type in 192.168.0.1 as shown on the screen and hit enter. Now that should take you to a page like this. Here, simply enter the default login credentials, which is admin. The username is admin and the password is equally admin. Then hit enter to run the setup wizard. Here, the router is able to detect the addressing type from the connected network. I will leave it at that and proceed. It also gives you these default SSIDs for both the 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz bands. These are the names of the connections your devices will detect. You can choose to rename them if you want. I'll just go with the defaults. You can also set the password to your preference and then hit continue. Here it shows you the names and passwords of the two connections. Remember to use a strong password to keep your connection secure. Next, hit OK. And that should restart the router for the new configurations to take effect. After rebooting, connect again using the new credentials. And then you should be able to access the internet connection. Now, this is the basic setup for the device. With this, you are already good to go. However, if you want to make some special configurations to the router, then you can go back to your browser and type in the same IP address once again. That's 192.168.0.1 and hit enter. Now that will take you to the status and configuration page. Here you will find lots and lots of settings and configurations to optimize your user experience. They are grouped in these different categories. You have the status tab that shows the connection state of the router and the network in general. You have the network settings with these different subcategories: the wide area network settings, the local area network settings, the 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz wireless settings, and so on. Now, if you are not conversant with some of these settings, then it might be better to leave them on the default settings. However, if you want to experiment with some of the settings, you can try them out, and if you run into any complications, you can always use the reset button at the back of the router to reset it back to the default factory settings. Under security, you can choose to filter your URLs. So here you can blacklist URLs you don't want users to have access to via the router. You can also choose to whitelist any URL to enable access to it. Then you have Parental Control feature to enable you schedule usage time for your kids or words. By simply adding the MAC addresses of your kids' devices, you are able to set usage times for them. You can configure such scheduling for up to 16 different devices. You can set for different days of the week and different times of the day. This comes in really handy in this social media age to help regulate the amount of time your kids spend on the internet, and of course to help them get to bed in time as well. Now, there are lots of other features and functionalities that come with this Wi-Fi router that I'm not able to cover in this review. I will leave links for you to check it out in more details down the video description. Each unit of this router costs about $90 on Amazon. Now, Vanin has offered to give away 2 units of this device to 2 random viewers on the channel. You would find the sign up link to the giveaway down the video description. It's really an easy process and you will stand a chance of having one of these devices shipped down to you. Thanks to Vanin for the kind gesture. And that is it for this review. This video was brought to you by Vanin. Give it a thumbs up if you found it useful and share with anyone you think might want to see. Drop us a comment if you have any questions or feedbacks. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for updates on future tech reviews and other tech support videos on the channel. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.